Nigeria, a Dutch court has ruled in favour of 4 Nigerian women who had sued the oil giant Royal Dutch Shell over its alleged role in the unlawful arrest, detention and eventual execution of their husbands by the Nigerian military in 1995. The oil major denies those accusations. It argues, in fact, that the court lacked the jurisdiction to hear the case, but the oil firm was ordered to hand over confidential internal documents to the plaintiffs' lawyers. CGTN's Ihaza has more on this story from Nigeria's capital.
The 4 Nigerian widows Esther Kiobel, Victoria Bera, Blessing Iwo and Charity Levula are suing oil giant Shell over allegations of conspiracy in a brutal crackdown on protesters against Shell's devastating pollution of the Ogoni community, south-south region of Nigeria. The widows' husbands were among 9 others, popularly called the Ogoni 9, that led a movement for survival of Ogoni people, MOSOP, campaigning for greater control of oil and gas resources on their land and protesting against oil pollution by major oil companies like Shell. However, after 4 prominent Ogoni leaders were killed by a mob allegedly linked to MOSOP, Ken Sarawiwa, the then president of MOSOP, and the 8 others were accused of complicity in the murders. They were hastily tried by a military tribunal in 1995 under Nigeria's late military dictator Sani Abacha, found guilty and executed. The case was first filed by the widows in New York in 2002, but in 2013 the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the U.S. did not have jurisdiction to hear the case. Experts say it's a welcome development for the International Court of Justice in The Hague to give fair hearing to these women.
The rights of individuals are becoming increasingly heard by that court. So it's a good development. We can no longer use our local arguments that, you don't have jurisdiction, you don't have local standard to approach the court. That has been defeated. And the good part of it for our own legal system here in Nigeria is that our courts can now sit back and look at this phenomenal development in the jurisprudence of the world. I think it narrows down to this issue that the world has become a global entity.
Shell started operations in Ogoni land in 1958, and by 1992, oil production in the small community had jumped to 28,000 barrels per day, which is about 3% of its approximately 1 billion barrels per day total production in Nigeria. But the oil giant has produced no oil or gas from Ogoni land since 1993, although the community still serves as a transit route for its pipelines transporting oil production from other areas. Critics have accused the oil giant for large amounts of oil spills across the country within the past 50 years of its exploration. The Shell Group denies all allegations and maintains that its appeals for the then military government to spare the lives of the protesters fell on deaf ears.
The case is two-sided. There is the criminal aspect, there is the civil aspect. Now, this woman's agitation is not premised around the criminal allegation. It is more of the civil case. It might be legitimate under whatever law that Shell is discharged of any criminal liability. But once this court finds at the end of the case that they are responsible for the conduct, then they must be bound to pay whatever compensation the court will impose.
The widows want Shell to tender an apology publicly and compensate them for the financial and emotional suffering caused by their husband's deaths. Ihaza, CGTN, Abuja, Nigeria.